Hi, my name is Stanley Njoku, NJK. Welcome to this webinar. Today is the 27th of April. So I decided to make this webinar to be recorded so that before I can be able to get it across to you, reason being that it will enable you to be able to control the pace at which you want to listen to this webinar and also be able to give you the opportunity to probably pause, jot down some information as they well up in you, or pause, attend to other things, and come back to continue with this session. But in all, or in whatever you want to do, try as much as possible to finish this session. Couple of minutes, but it's quite engaging. It's going to be very engaging and very informative. So let's talk about productivity. Now, why productivity? Because in everything we do, productivity is at the center of it. And it's very important for us to also understand what productivity means. Productivity is not actually centered on work related, but it has to do with every element of our existence from within ourselves down to our environment where we exist, coexist, and cohabitate with others, up to the future or the goals that we chase or who we want to become in time to come. So when you talk about productivity, it's not limited to working alone, but cut across every element of our existence as humans. So it is a vital element, a vital aspect of our development and how we exist, how we become superhuman or extraordinary in what we do, and how we're able to sharpen our skills to be able to perform well in whatever tasks we are given or we decide to we give ourselves or responsibility that nature or um, work or whoever around us has bestowed on us. So let's quickly take a look at what the definition of productivity means. Now, productivity has no specific definition. Yeah, productivity can mean different thing to different people in different background. How a nurse will define productivity may not be the way a mechanic will define productivity. Will not also be the way a classroom teacher or a lecturer will be able to define productivity. And the way I can define productivity may be quite different. But in all definitions, irrespective of sectors, businesses, or individuals, there are key pointers or keywords that can be found in all definition of productivity. One is efficiency. Yes, you always see efficiency. You always see measurement. You're definitely going to see a bit of goods and services. Now, why goods and services? Because in everything we're doing, either as a doctor, as a mechanic, as a tailor, as a mother, as a father, as an employee, or as a CEO of your own company, whatever we are doing is tied up to goods and services. So it's either you are rendering a goods, you are rendering a service, sorry, you are rendering services, or you are selling goods. So in every aspect of productivity is tied to goods and services. Now, goods and services under this context of definition is not only about transactional activities. What I mean by transactional activities is not only activities that has to do with exchange of money or exchange of resources. No, goods and services has everything to do with everything we do. For instance, how you correlate with people around the environment is a service. How you coexist is a service. How you are able to measure your personality is a service. How you are able to convince somebody to buy what is in your hands is goods. So how you are able to preach or the way I'm able to speak to you to enlighten you about the subject of productivity is a service. So now goods and services, when it comes to the terms of production, that is the word that is used to con every activities that we do. So I want you to have it at the back of your mind that when we talk about goods and services, is actually not about money or transactions that has to do with trade by barter or exchange of resources or money. But no, it has everything to do with our person, how we coexist, correlate, and how we're able to be efficient in carrying out our daily activities. Now, there are some elements, there are some points, some words, some adjectives that determines how productivity can be measured. How do we measure productivity across all profession or across all humans? Can we measure the productivity of a nurse or the productivity of a doctor or the productivity of a mechanic or the productivity of myself, NJK, as I speak to you, or your very self? How can you be able to say, okay, fine, I'm being productive, or these are the areas I need to work on, or this is what I need to do to up my game in terms of delivering on my personal or my assigned responsibility or responsibilities that nature has bestowed on me as a living being. So, what are those things that measures our productivities? So, let's take a look at the next slide quickly. Now, if you take a look at the diagram here, you will see that there are 5 key legs of productivity measurement if you actually want to ascertain or know how productive you are in what you are doing or where the position you are in life. So now these are key fundamental measurable tools to determine our productivity level as humans. Number one, we'll talk about quality. Quality in what we do. How are we delivering on the standard, the right standard on what we are doing? In whatever you have been assigned or what nature has bestowed on you, what are the quality, the end product you are producing are? The end products, how quality are they? Are you giving it the best of the expected output? Now, when we talk about quality, we talk about input and output. So the quality of what we put into ourselves or into our environment or into our future will determine the quality of the output we are going to get at the end of the day. So in computer it is called garbage in, garbage out. So when you in African wisdom, it is said, what you sow you will reap. So when you cultivate cassava, you're definitely going to reap cassava. So this is one of the elements of measuring productivity, the quality of what everything around you has become, which is a function, mostly a function of the quality of work, the quality of investment you've put into yourself, the quality of dedication you've put in your environment. And now your environment may be Peacock, which is your place of work, what could mean your environment could be your family. It could be in that environment you find yourself. It could be on that job you are in. It could be on the street where you are known. It could be in any environment you meet yourself. Even while on your dining set, at that particular point, what is the quality of your deliveries? Are you following the processes? Do you stick to the process to which it requires you to become a qualified person in that environment? For instance, when we're in primary school, one of the processes that is required is that we must stay in primary school for 6 years in order for us to obtain our first living school certificate. Now, if you don't put in that 6 years, you will not get your first living school certificate. So the quality of the outcome of whatever we have or we are going to have is directly proportional to the work, the standard of input we've given to our assignments, our environment, ourselves, and the future we are projecting. Now, the next measurable element of productivity is quantity, multiplication of effort. Multiplication of what? Effort. How are you able to double up on your effort? Are you getting me? For instance, I have a cup here, and let's say it will take me 1 hour to get this cup filled up, and I need to produce 5 of this cup within 1 hour as a result of the responsibility or as a result of what is expected of me. How can I be able to double up on my effort to produce 5 pieces of these cups within same 1 hour to get it filled up? Maybe. So how are we multiplying our effort in order to propel the growth we are to experience? How are we multiplying our earning to be able to develop a growth that will sustain our environment, the kind of life we want to live, the kind of comfort we want to experience, and the kind of future we want to step into? Now, I hope you are following. I hope you are following me. This is very interesting. I'm not only taking this because I want to speak to my team, but I'm taking this because it is a life tool that we need to be conscious and intentional with in order for us to be able to improve our productivity. Because now productivity starts from not from our environment. Productivity starts from within us, which is part of what we are going to learn in this webinar. Now, when we move from quantity, there is efficiency. Now, what is efficiency? Efficiency is resource in its simplicity. It means management of human and material resources. Management of human and material resources to be able to produce the right result or surpass expectation. So how efficient are you? For instance, your boss has given you an assignment and said, okay, fine, Kunle, you need to get this presentation done ahead of Monday morning. And this was the given to you on Saturday evening. So how are you going to make use of the limited time you have to be able to deliver? How are you going to be able to, probably you don't have data on your system, but there is data on your phone, and you're able to come to the consciousness, your ability to come to the consciousness of being super active mentally to know that this data on my phone can serve a purpose for me on my system. So instead of you writing back to your boss and say, sir, my laptop doesn't have a data, you can as well be proactive enough to be efficient to say, fine, let me use the Wi-Fi and connect it to my system and get this job delivered before time. Now, efficiency also means how are you able to emotionally and physically connect to the people within your environment to be able to get them to respond to you or relate with you or work with you in a way that will make you to be proficient. Now, proficient is another word for efficiency. Now, how can you be able to develop that interpersonal skills, interhuman skills to be able to connect to people, to be able to connect to individuals, to be able to connect to your environment in order for you to be able to form a common mindset, a common solution, a common goal whereby everybody will be able to follow. Now, for example, in a family, a father or a mother need to be proficient. Sorry for using the word proficient, but they mean the same thing. A father or a mother need to be efficient enough in order for them to be able to build a common goal whereby everybody within or under them will be able to align. Whereby, for instance, when a visitor steps in, a visitor automatically know that this family is an efficient family because of the way they manage resources, because of the way their progression have been, because of the way the communication, how they were able to manage the little earning, probably the total income of the family is 200,000. But when you look at the standard of life and how they communicate and relate to their within their environment, you may think that there's a hidden source of income that they have that nobody knows about. That is what efficiency means. The ability for you to manage human and material resources at all times to be able to produce the result that is required of you to be productive. I hope this is making a whole lot of meaning to us. To you, ensure you are putting down something. I believe a whole lot of stuff will be coming to your mind. You can pause this video, take down some notes, and come back and continue from where you stop. Now, we talk about another key measurable elements of productivity is time management. How you're able to set up your tasks and complete it on time, how you are able to plan ahead of time. You don't wake up and start planning. I'm taking up your day the way it comes. Now, when they say this happened, you are so overwhelmed, you're overwhelmed that you get distracted about every other aspect of your day. Now, in a day, you know you are heading to work, or you know you need to go to work. While on your way to work, you know you need to go to bank, you need to call your mom, you need to call your dad, you need to speak to your spouse, to your boyfriend, you need to check up on them, you need to make sure that your kids are fine, you need to make sure that your job also is good, you are delivering on your job optimally. Your ability to be able to plan your day efficiently in such a way that you don't leave any area, any stone unturned. Time management is the ability for you to be one step ahead of time. The ability for you to be ahead of what? One step ahead of the next activity you need to do. For instance, recording this webinar, I've quite planned for this webinar since yesterday, which is 26th. I have planned my timing. I have checked my system. I have made sure that everything is up and running, so that I don't come to this presentation and begin to what? Fumble and look as though I'm caught unawares. So time management is the ability for you to be able to what? To be punctual. For you to be what? For you not to be caught unawares. In Igbo terms, it is said that mbrede keja madike. What that means is that unexpected determines the readiness of a man or a woman. When the unexpected happens, that is when the environment which you are and the world will know how ready or how prepared you are as a person. Now, the last one is innovation. What is innovation? Simplicity. That's all. Innovation is what? Simplicity. The ability for you to be able to know that there is another means of doing something faster and not sticking to the old ways of doing things. Like, this is how Lagbaja used to do it, or this is how these people used to do it. This company, they before they launched their product, they were on BBC, they were on CNN, they were all over the place. Yes, they could be there, but you must define your own easiest and better way based on your environment, based on the principle of your home, based on the principle of your company, based on the principle and terms of condition. Because, for example, for every service, for every goods, there are terms and conditions. You will not say because a particular product, they used to top 2 glasses of water to get a mixture, then you buy another product, a different product entirely, you decide to use the same two cups of water. Whereas the terms and condition of usage of this product is that you must use just 1 cup of water. So now, innovation simply means simplicity. Discovering new and best ways to get old problems or new problems solved that can directly lead to improvement and advancement. I hope we are getting a whole lot of knowledge. Now, one of my principles in life is that I don't relate with colleagues like employees. I like to relate with colleagues like friends, like mentees, which has actually formed part of my career path over the years. I started my career in teaching. I taught for about 5 years and 4 months. Yeah. So I love to share knowledge. And the more I share knowledge, the more I gain more, the more I become more aware and intentional about my productivity goals as well. So as I speak to you, I'm not a professional, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm also learning. So as we share this knowledge, you'll get to understand that, yeah, I'm also learning. So that when I speak to someone else, I speak more proficiently and more better. So now let's move on very quick. Now, another thing, how is productivity developed? Now, if you are paying attention, sorry, if you are paying attention, you will have discovered that all through this presentation, I've been mentioning about myself, my environment, and my future. So productivity is developed starting from within your very self. Productivity starts from within, then it extends to your environment, then it moves to the future. Now, how do you develop productivity within you? Very simple. By making sure that in all you do within yourself, you are determined, you've made up your mind that you must put in the best standard and process of doing things. Secondly, you must be able to multiply your effort in whatever you are doing, meaning you must be able to improve. Now, if every day what you do is that you cook egusi soup, you cook egusi soup, you cook egusi soup. Now, you must be able to what? How can you be able to multiply? How can you be able to do something? Now, I think I'm beginning to talk about innovation. Sorry, that's not. So now, quantity is within you. You are going to be what? Know how you can be able to multiply your effort and serve more people. If you are selling this, you should be able to say, okay, fine, I'm selling a glass cup per day. How can I be able to multiply my effort to be able to sell three, sell four, sell five? So we must within ourselves, we must not remain static. We must cut out every element of weakness, laziness within us. Yes, that's the right word, to laziness within us. Secondly, we must be sorry. Secondly, we must be very, very resource driven, learning how to manage resources, learning how to use one stone to kill 20 birds. Now, probably you are a lady, your guy gives you like 20,000 for upkeep in a month, but per se, you are not supposed to be like, it depends on the agreement of your terms of your relationship. Probably you receive 20,000 as an upkeep for the month. How can you be able to manage this 20,000 in such a way that you will be able to be contented and be able to meet your basic need and be able to amplify it? So now somebody is giving you 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. So at some point, there should be some output. Remember when we start talking about quality, we talk about input determining output. So if somebody has been depositing 20,000, there should be a time whereby there should be some level of improvement. Naturally, you begin to think within yourself, how can you be able to what? Advance yourself. How can you be able to impress your employee? How can you be able to, okay, my employee is paying me 100,000 in a month to fill up a glass of water every day. So how can I be able to impress my employer? I say, sir, yes, you pay me 100,000 to fill up this cup, but trust me, I'm delivering two of this cup this month. So your ability to be able to sit down within yourself and be able to determine and know that yes, there is a need for you to take a step forward, for you to be able to improve. Looking within your environment, what can be done? Looking within yourselves, what need to be improved? What are those attributes, those qualities that have hindered and derailed you in such a way that it's affecting your productivity? So you need to start pruning, cutting off those elements, those distractions, those things, so that you can be able to have a sound mind to be able to what? Move to the next thing, which is what? Your environment. How can, when we talk about environmental productivity, what does it mean? is about your ability to make use of your self-productivity to achieve your environmental responsibilities. I'll take that again. Environmental productivity is the ability for you to utilize your self productivity. Now, remember, productivity starts from within self. Now, what is your self productivity? It's talking about your readiness of heart, your conclusion, the identified needs, the opportunities you've seen, the things you've been able to keep aside because where you are coming from, there have been a whole lot of distraction. You have a different mindset. You have probably your former boss sacked you, and you feel that I'm coming to this way, I'm likely to get sacked, or probably you have a problem for where you are coming from. So you are carrying all those baggages along with you. No, it's going to affect the way you relate with your environment because even if your environment is production ready, and within yourself you are not production ready, productivity will never happen. So environmental productivity is the ability for you to be able to make use of your within self productivity to key it into the opportunities within your environment, relate with people, manage resources, and be able to achieve exceptional goals and exceptional results. Now, when that is done, see what happened about the future productivity. The next one is future productivity. Now, let me tell you how it happens. When you take care of your self productivity, environmental productivity, you have automatically matched up what the future will look like. Because what the future is the output of what yesterday and today we are putting into ourselves and our environment. That is what brings about the future. So trust me, if you're a millionaire today, you don't just wake up and become a millionaire. Even though if you win a lottery, remember you are not a millionaire. A millionaire is that person who has learned how to produce and sell or offer service and generate millions. That's who is called a millionaire. You won a million in lottery does not make you a millionaire because you don't know how to produce that money again. Unless probably after you win the million, you go to what we call self productivity levels, environmental productivity level that will not propel you to become a millionaire in the future. Whereby you can be able to regenerate the money or kind of invest the money to produce more um, funds for you. So let me not deviate. Now, future productivity is an outcome. Have it, remember, future productivity is an outcome of days before, years before, how you've been able to manage yourself, manage your environment, and be able to sow the necessary seeds that gives about the future productivity. Now, trust me, whatever you are eating today, there's every chances that they were not cooked today, or there are every chances that the fund or the money or the opportunity for you to step into where you're able to eat what you are eating now or what you've ate today is not as a result of the work of today. No, it's a result of the work of yesterday. So what that means that if you're going to be productive in the future, definitely yesterday, today must match up to the expectation of where you want the future to look like, or how you want the future to look like, or where you want to be in the future. So, for instance, if you want to be flying business class in the future, probably right now you are driving or you are flying economy, but you have the aspiration when you close your eyes, you see yourself flying business class. Your imagination cannot do it alone. Your prayers is not what will even do it, but your ability to be able to be productive today, your ability for you to be able to develop resources, put resources together and develop elements, develop businesses, develop ideas, be productive on this job, be able to come up with ideas. When your boss says, "Get me a cup of water today," by tomorrow you are telling him, "Sir, we cannot be picking water from the dispenser. We can actually have an automated robot or system that can be able to be, So now your ability to be exceptional defines what the future will be. Now, let me tell you something. If what you are experiencing now has never been your wish, the question will be, what did you do yesterday? What did you invest your time, your energy, your data, your funds, the salaries you earn? What did you invest them in? Now, money money is not the bedrock of productivity. So what that means is that you don't need money to be productive. In most cases, what you need is what you get to learn in the next slide. So in most cases, what you need is not money. Capital is not what you need to be productive. You need to have the right mindset, the right emotional intellect to be able to accommodate the level of productivity you want to experience and begin to express it within your environment. Begin to connect with people with that mindset, with that productivity, with that effort you are putting. It is not about the money, it's about the intentionality. That will take us to the next slide. Yeah, the ultimate tool of productivity is what? Intentionality. And this is where I'll be ending this webinar. The ultimate tool for productivity is intentionality. You must be intentional. You must be at alert and aware of your actions, your choices, the attitude you display before your boss, before your colleagues. Your environment must be aware. Your environment must be attuned naturally to the fact that you are a productivity driven individual. Productivity has a lot to do with what? Your psychology, your philosophy about life. Do you actually believe that you definitely require that intentionality? Do you actually believe that it is the, for instance, in this last slide I was saying that future productivity is a resultant effect of what we did yesterday and days or years before. Now, when I said that, within you, do you believe, do you have that conviction that the outcome of whatever character you have today, whatever emotional patterns you have within you, even as I speak, as you watch me, whatever you are feeling is as a result of what nobody else must have done but ourselves? See, there is something I started doing since when I was in my 20s. That is speaking within myself to take responsibility of the outcome of life. So many errors have been done, but I end up sitting down and say, yes, NJK, this is happening because of me. Take the blame first. And there's something about accepting the fact that something goes wrong because of yourself. It gives you that willingness to hold yourself accountable. And that is where intentionality begins. That is where you begin to hold yourself by the hands and say, guy, you see, this time around you spill water from this cup, but this time you will not spill water from this cup again, because if you do, you are responsible. Nobody else to be blamed. So the fundamental tool needed for productivity is intentionality. Your belief will drives your choices of action, your choices of relation, your choices of association, your choices of passion. What will propel you towards life? What will prepare you towards, what will motivate you or demotivate you? You must begin to take ownership, to know that productivity, for me to up my productivity, is not about funds. Funds is like at the point of entry, but before point of entry, there is something, just like somebody that wants to gain admission into university in Nigeria. At the point of entry, that's when money is required. But there are some certain things you will have done. You must have passed your WAEC. You must have read your books. You must have passed your JAM. You must have passed your post JAM. You must have. So there are a whole lot of work. It's at the point of entry that fund is required. And in most cases, fund is not required all through one's life of being productive. Like as I am, I don't need fund to be able to speak to my team every day. I don't need funds, but I am productive. As a wife, you don't need funds for you to be able to be productive as a wife. In fact, I'm going to be sharing this video with my wife. Yeah, because this is really going to help improve a whole lot of stuff with her. Yeah, we all need to learn. You see, as a husband, you don't need fun to be productive. That's not what you need. All you need to be productive is your personal decision. I say that now. Anya Keja, sorry, we have, I know some of us may not be Igbo, but sorry, when I speak this, I'm an Igbo man, so when I speak this, please try to get a translator. Yeah. There's an Igbo adage that say that Anya Keja more kachalacha. Anyway, you don't need a translator, but I've only been translating the adages I've been using. There's an Igbo adage that say that Anya Keja more kachalacha, meaning it is through the eye you will know a corn that is ripe for harvest. You don't need to even touch it or start examining it. By looking at it, you'll be able to know that no, this corn is ripe. So when we talk about productivity, when you see someone who is productive, you don't need the person to display any razzmatazz or display any skills or probably do any eye service. No. By a consistent or a short while understanding of the person's relationship skills, attitude, and how the person manage the little resources or zero resources within his or her management, you will definitely know that no, this person is productive. Some of us go to interview even before you finish introducing yourself, and your boss is like some of us here. In all through my career, I've employed persons even without knowing what they study, because once you are productive and you are sound-minded, what you study is not the point. Where you are coming from is not the point. What has happened to you yesterday is not the point. The challenge is the fact that your parent did not send you to school, or the fact that you did not go to school, or the fact that because in the environment where I am, it's not about what you study. It's about what can you do, what can you offer. So that's why the employability situation in Nigeria is skyrocketing every day, because what people study, take their certificate, and go to sleep. They stop working on themselves. They stop developing themselves mentally. They stop seizing opportunities, even to do a kind of a little job, even to sell as little things as possible, to acquire sales skills, even for you to be able to develop a concept, an idea, or a business that will be able to now that will be able to sustain you in the later run. Now, the first company I owned is Work Plus Consult Limited. That company was actually established in 2010 after my NYC. But over the years, I've nurtured that company, and that company is part of my success stories. You must nurture something. Don't expect an instantaneous miracle that will change the story of your life, because it's not going to happen. You are not going to meet that Messiah that will change your life. No. See, out of 1 million persons, it may happen to like 3 or 10. Statistically, that's not a figure, measurable figure. So you don't call it a data. So it's just like, when people try to amplify some ideology that is not real, and that ideology is the storyline, like you will meet somebody that will change the story of your life. No. Out of 1 million persons, in Nigeria, we're about 220 million people. Out of 220 million people, it may happen to like 20 people. But that is not a figure measurable to be used in science or in sales or in every other aspect that has to do with data. Such data is insignificant. So when such is insignificant, you now understand that the bone of contention and everything rises and falls on your laps. So how long you're going to stay in this company falls on your laps. How productive you're going to be falls on your laps. It's not about what somebody is doing. It's not about whether your boss likes your face or not. The question is you yourself. Do you like your own face? Do you want to be productive? Do you want to be exceptional? Do you want to make a statement that will be emulated? So intentionality is all that is needed. Thank you so much. If you've watched to the end of this is about 40 minutes plus. I never believe it's going to stay this long. But if you watched to this end, thank you so much. And I so much appreciate. You are free to leave a comment for me. Yeah. If you have any of mine. Okay, yeah. Send me an email. Yeah. You can also send me an email. Yeah, to any means or on the platform or WhatsApp. So thank you so much. I believe this is going to challenge us individually. Now, this webinar is a personal development, it's part of my personal development guide, and it's specifically for everyone. You don't need to be in the team or anything, specifically for you to be able to be aware and be able to be straight um, and intentional in everything you are doing on the job, off the job, in your environment. Be intentional, be aware before you make those mistakes, before you utter those words, before you take those decisions. Be aware, be intentional, because mistakes repeated over time becomes an intentionality. Yeah, it's not a mistake. It's not part of us, part of the person, not me. So cheers, thank you so much. I so much appreciate, and I bow. I say thank you. Gracias. Cheers.